Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Wednesday, August the 14th. The year's 2024. Let's talk trading. Trading with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and different from Walmal's. And just a reminder, in the middle of the trading week, not to lose any more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. In other words, have your stop losses or risk management in place. Walmal, we've had a couple red news days, and it looks like price is doing that little range bound thing again.
It certainly is. In fact, if you look, well, our news came out at about 33 minutes ago, and it's kind of funny because it looks like I wasn't trading at the time, but it looks like it went and dropped 20 pips or so, ran all the way up and was up 12 pips from the open of that candle, and then closed with it only up about 12. So it's kind of interesting how that all transpired.
Yeah, it looks like we've just hit the open and exceeded the open of that big down candle on the news. So they just a wash and a rinse.
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay. I mean, you could have made some money on that. There's no question about it. Like I said, I wasn't sitting in front of my machine, trading at the time. Actually, I was in front of my machine, but I wasn't trading. But you could have made some money on that. Waited for that to go and pan out, and once it panned out, then trade back towards the open of the where the news are. And that's just something that, again, it's an experience thing. For whatever reason, the pound dollar, you get any type of big movement because of news. It doesn't always get back to the open, but man, it loves to try to get there.
It sure does, because that's something that I nicknamed the return bar. So that was nice.
And so right now, we're sitting here just waiting for something to happen. If you'd like to do what I do with using edges, we need to really get up to maybe, I don't know, somewhere around 51.0, somewhere around there, and look for a short from there. Although you could have taken, I guess you could have done and jumped in and taken a short off of the previous 1 minute. You would be underwater right now, but it could have been a valid trade because it wasn't too far off of it. But I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Mainly just because we're just a little bit further away from that edge than I like to be.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it broke that edge right before the news, so we got kind of unsettled territory here. So we'll see.
Right.
And then with my supply and demand indicator, we're sitting right now in a demand area. So another reason not to want to go short, just because there are people out there who want to buy, at least according to the indicator. Do I really know if the people really wanted to buy? Nope, I don't. I'm saying that's what the indicator says.
Yeah, well, it looks like we covered that previous M30. Anyway, yep. And we did. And on my 1 minute chart, we're at the high wick zone off of that, I guess that first news candle there that has the big wick on the upside. And we just exited the launch pad to the north. So we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, to the top of that big wick on that candle, it's about 9 pips away. So that's right. It's at least on my charts anyway. It's right at 60. So that may be a good valid place to try to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things. It's sort of like your idea of wanting to get out of the wick zone. It's not that we're necessarily in a wick zone here, because we're not. But what I have noticed on the smaller time frames, it loves to cover those wicks. It just problem is trying to guess when it's going to happen. And we have news again at 10 o'clock, but it's only orange news, and it's retail sales and industrial production. The retail sales, and when I say the thing is that's a Chinese uh, news event. It's not a U.S. news event. I've been adding in the Chinese ones because I've noticed that some of these Chinese news events have been affecting the pound dollar as of late. So I've added that to my list of things that I look at Forex Factory.
Right. Hey, the other day we were talking about something, and you said you needed to continue. Do you remember what that was?
No, come on, I'm old.
Hey, but I'm older than you, Mr. Birthday Man.
I really don't recall. Want to write these things down. Okay, we're breaking the wick of the candle 2 candles ago, and so now we're probably going to run up to about 55. That would have been a nice little flip flop trade could have taken. Would have been up like 3.5 pips now. And if you got in at the bottom of this where it's moved up, you've been sitting pretty because you would have been up like 12 pips right now.
Oh, actually, we're coming up to the monthly open here at 50.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We have where that's my alert going off that we crossed the monthly open.
Mm-hmm.
And we're 5 pips away from the daily open.
Yeah, I notice I've got your trading template on the screen right now, and I notice we got some nice ranges on the M5, but I guess that's because of the news.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're struggling. Oh, we just passed the monthly open. That might be a good place to look for a short on coming back the other way.
And before I said, look for, an exit around 55.
Mm-hmm.
We got up to what? We got up to 54.5. My exit would have been, if I had taken the trade, probably 54 even. And the reason why is because my monthly open is at 53.9. And so it would have been a nice area to target, and that way I don't have to go and fight to get through the monthly open. Want to get there like it's like, a magnet sucking to another magnet. So it likes to get there, but it doesn't necessarily want to go past there.
Right.
Or at least not past there by a lot. And if you look left, right before the news drop, you see it got up to that same area. At least on my chart, it got up to 54.7 before it was rejected. It's probably, my guess is it's going to go and get through here. Just pure guess. And the reason why it's going to want to go, and right now we're about the midpoint of that wick, and it's going to want to get up to the daily open, just to test that daily open. But the way I look at it is I'd rather go and put, from that first trade that I talked about, if I had gotten out where I said to get out, could have picked up 5.5 pips. And the other trade that I talked about going and taking, you would have gotten out with, 11.5 pips. So if you had taken both those trades, you would have been sitting there with 16, 17 pips.
Yeah.
Not a bad little haul, especially on an hour where we only have a 17 pip range on the smart range. But we do have 54 pip range on the daily smart range. And interestingly enough, that's about what we had yesterday during yesterday's video. And what was kind of interesting is that I don't know if you noticed or not, but the daily range for yesterday was 115 pips.
No, I hadn't looked at it. Okay, so we just had a flip-flop box there on the 1 minute with the state change and a change in indicator too.
Yep. Yeah, my if I had taken that trade, my entry would have been at 51 even, and the reason why is because that's about where it crossed the indicator 2. So I would, there are two ways to do this, or a couple ways to do it. You can go and do it right from the opening, which I don't like to do because it's too risky as far as I'm concerned. Or you can wait to the end, wait until it goes past the wick, which would have been somewhere around 50. Is that right? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 50. Well, what I like to do sometimes is if wherever the indicator 2 changed its color, you'll win at that point right there, because then you've moved away, you've shown direction change, and I like to get in there. And if I would have done that, right now would have been a pip and a half. We'll see what this actually turns into.
Yeah, well, I've got my one of my charts with the 3-level ZZ indicator on it, and it says at 2840.7 or 1.28407. That's the halfway point between the last 2 3 balls. So that's what I'm looking to see if it makes it down there. It might find some difficulty right around 44 because that's pretty much the high of the old range that it had put in.
Yeah, just 41.2. That's the H4 open for the last H4 candle, not the current one, but from the last H4. So I would agree with that 44 because there's a number of things that are sitting there that are just like screaming out, and it goes back to what I say all the time: don't necessarily draw a line, but draw a rectangle. Of all the different things that are out there that telling you, hey, we're going to have difficulty in this area. Shade the area of difficulty,
right?
And know that hey, I'm going into that area, and then you can make a conscious decision. Because the thing is, if it breaks one of those areas, what I call an area of difficulty, if it breaks it, it can go and run good 20, 30 pips from that area, but also it's just as likely if it gets stopped dead in its tracks. So what do? You wait for it to get there, and you got 2 choices when you put the trade on: is put your TP right there and get out there, or what you do is you wait till it to get there and watch to see what price does. If price is rejecting off of it, get out, take your pips that you've made, and just get out. The problem is we become greedy. I can't tell you how many times, guys, where I've gone and said, okay, here's going to be an area of difficulty. I'm up 8 pips, and I've turned it into a loser because I was greedy and said, oh, it's going to go more. It's going to go drop down to here, and it doesn't. And it's like, man, I could have walked away with an 8 pip win there instead of taking a 3 or 4 pip loss.
Well, it's one of those things where if you get not necessarily greedy, but if you're not focused on protecting profit, that can happen. In other words, it's like you're up maybe 3 pips, but you're looking for 5 or 8, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute, do you really want to give back those 3 pips?
Right.
And so sometimes when I get into the mode where it's like, okay, if I'm up 4 pips, if it drops below 2 pips, I'm out. If I'm up 5 pips and it drops below 3 pips, then it's kind of like a mental 2 pip trailing stop sometimes, just to protect, because if things aren't going your way, then they're not going your way. it's just one of those things. But if it's moving and it keeps moving your direction, then you can ride it. But you know what? The fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So, fellow traders, hope you gleaned something from our ramblings today. But remember when you're got your account and it's live and you're trading, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.